using two cameras today as well as yesterday, and I'll try to look into different cameras. Just imagine that I'm in front of a huge audience in a hall, and all the seats are, occupied. Good afternoon. My name is Alina, and I'm a business coach. I'm a photographer, and this is my third day of the 3-day course, the 3-day workshop on how to shoot stories. I did a workshop because obviously I planned to teach you something, and I planned to give you some homework too. And I'm really happy when I receive some homework from you. The best results, which I see now, are the stories which you shoot and sometimes tag me, and it's very pleasant to see this kind of results, because I think that this is the best feedback from what I've been telling you. So day three, and I'm now live on YouTube and live on Instagram. The account which I use for photography majorly, a photo to remember. I have several accounts, and you're welcome to subscribe to all of them. One is a photo to remember, where I usually share my workshops when they're targeting the visual content of social media, will be quite, to the point. Here on this account, I also have an account in Russian where I'm just blogging, writing of whatever I'm doing with the Russian speakers. I mean, different projects, different topics to discuss as well. And there is also one Instagram page which I'm administrating for the Russian community school, St. Andrew's Russian School in Sydney. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say as an introduction. So today is the third day, and if you are on Instagram, you're lucky because you can watch the second day, which was yesterday. It's on my lifetime. And those who are watching me on YouTube obviously can have access to the 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and today. And I also had a trial mode, which was on Sunday, which makes it a 4th day, actually. Essential here. When you start something new, having a teacher, having someone to tell you, well, this is what you do and this is what you don't do, is very helpful, because in this case, you can always say, well, if you get some feedback which you don't like, you may always say, I had it at a course I attended, and that adds some value to your words as well, to your opinion, and that's great, because that can help you actually feel more confident when reacting, especially to the feedback from your close friends, relatives, etc. And let's start. So first of all, let me see if we have anyone online here. What I see on Instagram and on YouTube, I see that somebody is here. I can't see your names. I can't see where you are from. We have about 30 minutes only today, because I have another stream planned in half an hour, and I have to be on time there too. That's why, can you please try to show some reaction as soon as possible? Could you please write a plus if you hear me, if you see me, and if you are ready to listen to me for half an hour, just put a plus, and we'll start from there. If you're on Instagram, a photo to remember, that's where I'm streaming, and in this name, a photo to remember 2, which is a particle, is spelled like a figure 2. And you need to type that, a photo to remember. No punctuation marks. So yes, I'm just waiting for some response. As soon as I get some response, I will start. And then okay, yeah, I see some reaction here on Instagram. I'm just placing the phone closer to the camera on the laptop so that you could all see me. And I'm trying to work with 2 different directions at the same time. Cool. Now, here is what is the main idea of today's workshop. You are the main character of your own story. Listen to this more carefully. You are the main character of your life. And your brain, the human brain, and I'm sure you are human. Put a plus if you are a human, please. I'll see some reaction, and that's awesome. See that I'm talking to humans here. So we all people are born with brains, and what our brain does to us, it creates stories from the moment when we are born. Actually, there are some traits of our brain which I can speak about for hours, but one most important thing here is that the brain always creates stories. If you give enough information, the brain will actually build up the whole picture. For example, when you walk in a room and you don't know what is happening, that may be a new room, but you immediately see everything. You can feel with all the organs of your body, you can perceive the information. And what your brain does, he or she, it accumulates all the information and creates a story around it. So what your brain does, it actually creates the rest of the room. You're looking at one part of the room, but by the kind of light by the way the light fills the room, the brain can actually build up the reality around that kind of light. So instead of just watching at one point and seeing that only corner of the room, the brain actually builds the picture of the whole room immediately. So that happens to us all the time. And why do I say that in the introduction to today's topic? Because this is what stories as an instrument and social media does for us. It is like entering a room. So we are entering the room when looking at somebody else's stories. We don't have to see the whole picture. We just see some bits of the room where you are sitting, and our brain tries to imagine something, not only about the room, but about your life, about what kind of personality you are, about your hobbies, the income you're earning, the number of children you have, whether you're single or whether you have a partner. The brain creates all that kind of information because the brain is very curious. It needs that lead. The lead through the story is actually something which makes the brain think. So when shooting a story, don't try to shoot everything around you. Well, sometimes it's interesting, like but you don't have to shoot the whole room for the brain of your of your people who watch you to create this story instead of you. Okay, so don't forget about that. And when I say so, I also mean that the part of your body which also has to operate like a cameraman when thinking what to shoot for a story. Okay, not only for a story, of course, for any video. So imagine that social media is your TV. Actually, Instagram is the TV set of today's day, of nowadays. Let's put it like that. So, what you have to do, you have to think what to put in that screen, right? What to show on the screen. You have to think how to show it. Let it be an object. Let's say, no, if you want to show something you've bought, let it be the headset. You want to show that object. You want to actually. You see, if you're speaking about an object, you can show it to the camera. You can play with it. You can interact with it. Because what people's minds will do, their brains will actually create the rest of the story for you. You don't have to say everything, Sometimes it's just enough to show something in the to the camera, and people will immediately see what you're talking about. For example, my greatest mistake is actually that I forgot to say 3 times already, and I forgot to say today that you actually have to write something when listening to me, because that's the most powerful thing about any kind of class. So this is my notebook, by the way. I'm taking courses and I take notes of all the courses I'm listening to. And this is something you need to do as well, because otherwise you will just forget. Your homework for today was to retell what you have heard on day 2. But actually, I understand if you were struggling, if you didn't take any notes of what I was saying, then it's not going to work. And remember yesterday, I said that, well, I might send you the copy of my presentation, but I decided not to do so because it's one presentation with all the days. I just didn't want to, show you everything. And this is the idea. When you don't show people everything you have to say, you make them curious. Do you realize what I'm saying? Do you understand? Our brain is very curious by nature. We need that food for thought. We need that. If we don't get enough food for thought, then we get bored. And when I say everything to you from the first minute, then you don't want to listen to me. Instead, I try to show you something, but I won't tell you the rest until the end. Why? Because we need that intrigue. We need that curiosity to build up, and this is the only way you can actually attract the attention of your audience. So when shooting a story, don't show everything. Try to hide something. But as I said, don't hide the object too far away from the beginning of the video, because the first frame will be shown in your stories to your audience. And if they, let's say, don't see anything interesting, especially if you're sitting in front of the camera and just presenting something, and you might probably say something exciting, but people will not wait. They get bored in the first 3 minutes. No, no, not minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time. We only have 3 seconds for people to either get engaged or feel bored and just go on watching somebody else's stories. That's what we have to do. We have to capture their attention immediately. So if you want to speak about the book, show the book immediately. If you want to speak about an iPad, show the iPad. If you want to show us a trophy you want, show it in the first frame. Show it so that it is outstanding. And to give you some feedback as well, it's very important for the story to be interactive. And you need to know that up to 80% of people watching stories do not listen to you. They don't switch on the sound when watching your stories. That means that you have to write something. You need to use text on your stories. The text should be interesting. It should be curious. People should think, okay, I'll better switch on the sound to see what's going on here. So that's what you need to create, curiosity, okay? Now, the next idea. When you're shooting stories, you need to understand what kind of format you're using. What is the format or style or, the frame? You need to find yourself first and then find your way to present the information in the stories. Well, let's say that I'm a baker, or I'm I don't know, an electrician, or I'm an artist. Do you think all these people should look the same in stories? No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. They are all different, depending on our profession, on our position, on the target audience, of our stories. We need to understand what kind of personality we try to, show in the stories, as well as in our account in general. I'm not talking about stories here only, but the profile photo, your videos, which I will talk about later, your posts. So everything is important, and everything should be according to some kind of format. And before we talk about that, we won't cover this topic because it's huge today, but I'm sure I will try to arrange another course, a workshop where you can come and enjoy and learn something about videos, about how to, pack your Instagram and other social media tools. But for now, what I want to say is you have to be an interesting personality. And your personality becomes interesting when you do interesting things. So instead of saying, well, I'm just sitting in the office, I don't do anything, well, I don't have time in the office to do that. I only have time in front of my telephone before I go to bed, and I'm sitting in my room. Well, think differently. Think about it differently. I'm sure that you have something exciting happening in your life, but even if it doesn't, even if it's not, then you need to create that, because you are the only person who can make you an interesting personality. You are that kind of person. You are that person. You are the producer of your own life. And when shooting stories, you have to think as a cameraman. You have to think of it as a TV announcer, or I don't know, just a funny guy who is shooting himself or herself for the story. So you need to be excited of what you're saying and exciting for the others to look at. So even if you think that you're boring right now, try to show different aspects of your life and see how many you have. Some people like snowboarding, some people like going to the gym, some people just do 100 of other things. And that's cool, because this way, what you actually do, you develop, you grow, right? And here is what I want to share with you. Well, before you start shooting stories, of course, you need to understand who you are. But you can try right now. Just try shooting stories as many can to practice, and then maybe this kind of exercise will help you understand who you are. Because obviously, you can shoot yourself in some situations and not in others. You want your audience to see you in some situations and not in others. And this is a way to judge. As I said, shoot a video where you ask your audience for some advice. Ask them, trust their opinion, show them in your story what they want to see. Ask them if they are interested in the backstage, or if they're interested in the process of your creating something or working out or doing something. Just ask them, okay? Now, the next thing I wanted to say is imagine you have 10 people in your subscribers, or 30 people, or 40 people. It does not really matter how many, but usually, if it is for business, then about 10% can become your clients, 10% of your subscribers. Yeah, you might say that it's too little, or that's just about right. But what I want to say here is that all the other people may one day become your target audience. They might one day become your client. And that is why we are doing it all, you know? We are shooting stories because we want people to know more about us, to start trusting us before we even sell anything to them, okay? Because selling is not something we want to promote. We want to promote our own brand. And some of you already mentioned in their stories, they do that just for fun, because they don't want to lose something important, because it's a tendency these days to shoot stories, and it's better learn it before it gets too what is the word, too late. Before it gets too late. So 10% of your audience may be your potential clients, or maybe they are already. That is great. We can use that. Think about whether you can ask them for a favor. How about leaving some feedback for you? How about asking them to shoot a story about them and tag you? Sorry, not about them, but about you and your service, and tag you in their stories. How is that? How does it sound? Is it like fun or a challenge? Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could approach your client and say, could you please say that you liked my service in your store? Can you try and write a comment whether you have ever tried to do so? Have you ever asked your clients for feedback? Because what we need to do here is we need to interact. No matter how many people we have in subscribers, but we have to engage them in interaction. That's why I'm saying to you watching me now, could you please write if you have ever tried to ask for feedback? No matter what you did, at this stage, it doesn't matter what your real target audience is at the moment, but ask anyone to write about anything you have already done for them, no matter when. It's just a result. So try and write to me here in comments if you have done so already, or if you feel like doing now. Okay, now what about the other 90% of the people who are subscribed to you? What about them? Should we just forget them? Should we ignore them? Absolutely not. Because the 90%, they may be your ambassadors. Imagine you're promoting your webpage for photography and you are doing something really great. But the person who is watching you every day likes your work but doesn't want to be your client. He or she may not be interested in portrait photography or object photography that you are, specializing in. But they might one day hear that a friend of theirs or a client of theirs need to find a photographer, and urgently. So imagine what they can do. They could refer their client to you. That's why I say that your audience is your ambassadors. Now, one more thing will be, you know that when you open your Instagram in particular, you can see some highlights there. Well, especially when you log on to somebody else's page who is a bit more maybe, how to say, mature in Instagram using, what they do, they put smaller icons just below, just under their bio and the website. There are small icons which stand for different highlights. The highlights are the stories which live forever. You know that usually a story lives for 24 hours and then it disappears, but it does not disappear for you as a user. So you need to sort those stories and put them in place. You need to create some stories which will be there presenting your brand on your page. And just yesterday I received some recommendation from my sister after watching me that I have to, fill those stories with more professional photos, etc. Well, this account of mine, A Photo to Remember, is in English and it's focusing on photography, but I do not have time to do that. I mean, I do have some highlights, but not too many. And I'll tell you why. Because I've started recently. Actually, I started 3 months ago to take some online courses here and there. And I simply didn't have time to fill in all the blank, circles yet. But you need to do that. And my homework for you will be to create several kinds of stories, and I'll tell you what you need to shoot stories about. The number one, your priority is you need to shoot a story of what your blog will be about or is about. For example, if your blog or your Instagram page, your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page is about art, you need to say that in a story. You need to shoot a story and say, in 15 seconds, don't make it 1 minute, don't make it 2 stories. No, just one, please, just one. Say to the camera, hello, my name is Alina, and I'm a professional photographer living in Sydney. I specialize in family photography. That's it. That's about it. Just 15 seconds that you spend telling to your audience who you are with your name and what you do. Okay, you may do 100 of things like me, but even if you have 2 things to tell the audience, try to shoot 1 story today and a separate story maybe 2 or 3 days after, because sometimes the subscribers don't understand why you need to say that to them because they already know you. But you know what? The stories can be seen by someone who is not one of your subscribers, first of all. The second, as a story lives only for 24 hours, it means that that introductory story where you say, well, hey, my name is Kate and I'm baking cakes, has to live forever. It should be in your highlights. This is the story which is primary. It's very important to shoot one. Okay, but if you specialize in several things, for example, you're a baker and you also conduct some workshops, you can shoot a second story about your workshops a bit later. So that's your homework, task number 1, a story about your blog. The second task, you need to say something about yourself in a story. Something interesting about yourself, something important. For example, I can say that I've been doing photography for 10 years in Australia, and I've but in a story as well, because this adds some value to your account. You're not just a person who likes doing something, you're a professional and you need to say so. Okay, that's the second story and your homework. Number 3, you need to say in your story what is in your bio. The bio is the information which you write about yourself. When a person logs in and finds your page on Instagram, he or she needs to see the most important facts about you, what you do for living, or what you can offer to them, why they need to subscribe to you. Okay, so you need to say something in a story of what the value of your profile is, because you need to grow more. Well, you need to grow your audience. You want to attract more people. And when they see your page, they need to understand why they want to be one of your subscribers. Even if it's for family purposes, you can write something. You can write something interesting. You can say that you've moved to another country or you did something, and this is what you want to tell them. You need to write that. And just below it, there are these highlights of the lifelong stories, and one of them should be about yourself. So mind you, you need to have several highlights. One of them about yourself, about your business, about something which is useful in your business, etc., etc. So you say that in a story in order to later insert it into one of your highlights. And that's about it. So 3 tasks for you to do. I will really appreciate if you can tag me, Alyona Yusupova, in your stories, and tag my photo account, a photo to remember. Thank you very much for being with me here at day 3 of our workshop. I hope that it was useful for you, and I'm overexcited to see your results and to see if you are following these recommendations and use them actually to shoot your stories. Thank you very much for listening. That was really great to have you all here, and I want to invite you to my new workshop, which will be on videos, how to shoot videos in order to get promoted, why we need those videos on our profile, and why we need to create that kind of content on a regular basis. Thank you for watching me, and stay tuned. Subscribe to my pages if you haven't done so. Tag me in your stories, ask some questions, send me personal messages if you are interested in any aspects of my professional life or my personal life, and I will try to answer all the questions. And okay, just a second. I just want to see if there are any questions here which I might, answer straight away. Okay. Yes, we need to engage. Okay, we need to think of the personality. Yes, that's right. Food for thought. Thank you for all these comments. They're great. It's really important. Homework. Yes, say something about yourself. and about what you are shooting these stories for. I mean, how those people who see your page might benefit from your page. Okay, and yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day, the rest of the day, and I hope to see you all again later on. Thank you. Bye bye.